Hey there everyone, this is Ray Carcillo for Classic Game Room, and today we are looking at Tomb Raider Underworld for the Xbox 360. Tomb Raider Underworld is the final chapter in the trilogy arc that was started in Tomb Raider Legend and continued in Tomb Raider Anniversary. Picking up right where Anniversary left off, Lara is continuing her search for the mythical resting place of King Arthur, Avalon, and her adventure starts by her exploring underwater caverns in the Mediterranean Sea. Lara's adventure will take her all over the world as she'll uncover some startling secrets about both her friends and enemies in this action-packed conclusion. Underworld marks a huge step forward for Lara Croft in many ways. Whether this was just taking a page out of her unspoken rival Nathan Drake's book, or a revelation that Crystal Dynamics came up all with on their own, this is definitely not your typical Tomb Raider. Underworld sees the Tomb Raider physics system reach a new level of complexity, where Lara can now pick up and throw objects, besides her grenades, use melee combat, and interact with her environment like it was a living, breathing organism all by itself. For example, if Lara is just emerging from a lake or the ocean, and then tries to do some dramatic acrobatics, there's a chance now she may slip due to her not drying off immediately. Or, Lara's grappling hook can now be stretched taut, and used to pull stones, levers, and other interactive items in the environment off ledges, or drag them around if necessary in order to solve more physics-based puzzles. There are also other new nuances that make this probably one of the more well-polished Tomb Raider games we've seen. There's now a chance that Lara could get overwhelmed by foes alerted to dead bodies as they don't vanish from sight almost immediately, like in previous games. But of course, Lara can always mow down more enemies now to avoid that scenario, as she can finally lock onto 2 targets at once when using dual pistols. These gameplay and physics improvements really make the game feel a lot more fluid, as Lara is less limited to what she can do, and has also allowed Crystal Dynamics the chance to create some more interesting and complex puzzles, as Lara can now push her boundaries like never before. Unfortunately, even with the expansion of what Lara can do, and that the game flows much better than before, it still feels very linear for the most part. Your tasks are made relatively clear from the get-go, and even if you do want to explore, there really aren't many branching paths for you to wander down that won't bring you sooner or later to your main objective. The graphics for Tomb Raider Underworld have also seen an upgrade, as water and light effects are probably better than they've ever been in a Tomb Raider game, and the way Lara's flashlight plays over rocky ruins and off the water's surface is a really nice detail that should bring a smile to your face. Not to mention that Lara herself looks better than ever and spends a third of the game in the water, in a wetsuit, glistening.
Caught in some mythical paradise, Alistair. I only want the truth.
What? It gets lonely in the underwater base, so maybe I appreciate the water effects a little more than most other people, alright? Anyway, the game is really pretty. The audio is also very strong, as all the voice actors from the previous Tomb Raider games done by Crystal Dynamics return to reprise their roles, including Keely Hawes as Lara. Include a completely orchestra-based soundtrack that has songs that only play during certain sequences or levels, and the atmosphere for this game is very deep. One of the down points for Tomb Raider Underworld is that once you beat the game, there isn't much to bring you back since it's so story-driven. There are collectibles in each level and some DLC that fleshes out the backstory for some of the secondary characters, but overall, once you beat the story, you really won't feel compelled to come back to this that often. If you're a fan of the Tomb Raider series, or at least a fan of the story arc started by Crystal Dynamics, then you'll probably want Underworld as part of your collection because it wraps everything up in the arc very nicely. If you haven't gotten into the Tomb Raider series before, then even with the story recap cinematic at the start of the game, this isn't really the best point to jump into, even if technically, it's the best game in the series. I would recommend checking out some previous Tomb Raider titles to truly appreciate the steps forward this game has taken, or just go play Uncharted. Of course, Tomb Raider still has Lara Croft. Glistening. Always glistening.
Hey, Lara. Find it yet?